Here's an interview that a lot of y'all might have missed that we want y'all to take a listen to from my boy Eric B. Eric B was the guy that was going to be running the Death Row East, and y'all can hear this conversation between him and John and I, and it should be a good listen to for y'all. We want y'all to take a listen to it. This is Eric B, who is going to be the president of Death Row East. How you doing, Eric? What's up, baby?
What's good, Brett? How you feeling?
Oh man, I'm good. I got you on this live stream with this YouTube channel called Bone First. Is that cool?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. So everybody, we got the legendary Eric B on the line. I know y'all been asking about this brother since I came around YouTube, and y'all been asking for him in the last 2 weeks because I've been pumping him up because I told y'all I spoke to him and he's gonna come in. So he blessed us tonight. So let's get him as long as we can get him. And Eric B, go ahead and talk about it. We're gonna hit you up about this Death Row East stuff and Craig Mack.
Anthony, let me say this, Reg. First of all, if I was scared, I'd get a dog. Ask me any question you want to ask me. Ain't nothing off limits, man. Just ask me what you want to ask me.
I appreciate you.
And men, you as family first and foremost anyway. So, whatever it is, just ask me.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, E. Okay, so first of all, we're going to go. Could you tell us about the formation? Because most of y'all don't know, and I've been telling y'all, Eric B was very instrumental, and he was around. Matter of fact, let me just show y'all the relationship, because this is mainly a Tupac forum, and they love Tupac. I'll show y'all the love that Pac had for Eric B. It was this video shoot called How Do You Want It? And Pac came to me and was like, Reg, the only artist or person affiliated with Death Row that can come on set on this particular video shoot, other than Casey, JoJo, of course, whatever, is Eric B. He said, that's the only person that I want you to let on the set. And so I'm just trying to show y'all how
it definitely was a close set.
Yeah, it was definitely a close set. How much respect he had for E. Yeah. But I want you to go ahead.
Man. That's my little brother.
Yep. So I just want to show them how much respect he had for you. But if you can just go ahead and go into the Death Row East, the formation of it, because I know that was pretty much your creation in my mind from what I knew, what Suge always told me. Or at least talking with Pac and everything. If you could just talk about the Death Row East thing.
Yeah, what happened one day, Pac was like, E, we got to do a label, we got to do this, we got to do that. And he went back to Suge and Interscope and said, man, Eric, our East Coast counterpart, man, we got to do a label. And I told him, I said, the only way it can be effective, I said, let's call it Death Row East. And they looked at me and said, hey, what did you just say? I said, Death Row East. I said, y'all already got Death Row West. I said, let's do Death Row East, then we'll do Death Row South, then we'll go Midwest. And I said, we'll break it down into regions. Let's start out with East, and then we'll go South, then we'll go to the different regions. But what a lot of people didn't know, our first artist on Death Row East was Craig Mack. We pulled the coup and got Craig Mack right after Flavor in Your Ear. He only had a 1-album deal with Puff. Mm-hmm. And, we turned around and got him right there after he was hot with Flavor in Your Ear. And the next album he was going to put out was going to be on Death Row. Mm. And we had just a whole lot of stuff that we were doing that would have shocked the world. Exactly. So, I mean, there was just a lot of business stuff that we did behind the scenes. All the lawyers that we knew. Mm-hmm. We knew where everybody's contract was. We know how to get out the contract. Or see who had an existing contract that we could have took over. But Craig Mack was actually the first person that was on Death Row East.
Exactly. And I kind of told him this story, but it just coming from somebody certified like you is just put the icing on the cake. Now, E.
But Reg, you was there, so Reg, you was there. I don't know why they would doubt you. You was there.
Yeah, well, how it goes. But E, could you tell us? If you could tell us about, let's go into the Bryant Park thing. Were you there with the situation with Nas when we all kind of?
Yeah. So let me take you back. So
okay.
before we went into Bryant Park, I mean, a lot of things happened. That Thursday all the way to the Saturday. You know, it just was you know, I'll never forget what happened. So Bryant Park, I had a conversation with Pac, and Pac kept saying, "Yo, man, Nas." He was so adamant about fighting Nas. So I told him, I said, "Yo, Pac, let me explain something to you." I said, Nas is my little brother. You're my little brother. I said, well, let me give you some big brother advice. When somebody tells you they don't want no problems, I said, and I gave him an analogy. I said, it's just like a dog. You keep poking him, he might shrivel. You know, one guy, he might bite the stick. Next thing you keep poking him, he's going to bite you. And I said, Nas told you he don't want no problems. I said, when somebody's telling you they got respect for you and don't want no problems, stop pushing the issue. I said, the kid said he don't want no problems with you. He's never had no problem with you. He has the utmost respect for you. Why do you keep trying to make this a problem? He thought because Nas was on a record with somebody else, Nas didn't know what everybody else was rhyming about. They gave Nas the record blind, and he just put his lyrics on it. And then the beginning of the record, they was dissing Tupac, and he didn't know nothing about it until the record came out. So him and Tupac were at odds over that record. But one thing I will say that a lot of people don't know, after him and Nas met in the park, he was going to scrap the whole album. The album that he put out, he was going to scrap the whole album.
The song against all
he was going to scrap. He said, Eric, this is what we're going to do. When we get back on Monday after the fight, after we go to the Tyson fight, we're gonna fly Nas in, and me and Nas gonna do an album together. I'm gonna ask Nas, could we do an album together?
I heard that conversation.
So you know
I heard him tell Suge that.
They squashed it, and he came back to me and said, "Yo, E, man, you was right, man. Nas is one of the nicest guys in the world, man, and I was wrong. You know, I thought that he had a problem, and you know, and I told him, I said, the kid said he don't got a problem with you, man, and let it go." So, you know, after that, you know, everybody met in the park, and him and Nas stepped to the side and talked for a minute. And then after that, man, he apologized. You know, he apologized to Nas. And he told me, he said, E, on Monday, man, let's call Nas and see if we can get him out here in L.A. Man, I want to do an album with him. Man, we're going to ride and we're going to be a family like we should have been from the beginning.
Exactly. Hey, I have my partner who runs this YouTube channel. His name is John Highland. He used to run the website and all of that for Death Row back in the day. I'll let him ask you a few questions and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, there's always been a little bit of controversy because, you know, Snoop has a version of the story of what happened at the park during the MTV after party. From your account, was Snoop around you guys when you guys were at the park or no?
Yeah, Snoop was there, but him and Tupac had got into it earlier too.
Okay.
So they were mad at each other over some silly nonsense. Mm-hmm. He said, she said nonsense, but they were at odds at the time too, over Snoop being at Hot 97.
Right. Okay.
So Snoop was there. Everybody was.
Hey, actually, that happened after the park incident when he went to the radio station. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, did you guys have a logo done up for Death Row East yet, or no? Or was it just those flyers and the T-shirts that were? You did have one. Okay, can you describe it to people?
I mean, it was the same. It was same logo. It just said Death Row East on it. Same logo, man in the chair. Okay. Because what we did was, I remember we had a party in New York, mm-hmm. and we had 50 people out there with signs and Death Row East shirts.
Right.
And Tupac pulled up and said, "Yo, I think they're picking in our party." I said, "Pac, look at what the sign says." He said, "Oh shit, yo, you got me, you got me." So you know, I mean, it's the same Death Row thing. It just said Death Row East on it.
Okay. You had mentioned that Craig Mack was going to be the first artist, and I know he performed in Vegas the night that Tupac did end up getting shot. Were there other artists that you don't mind telling us that you either talked to or wanted to talk to try to get them on the label had it happened?
No, we took it one step at a time. So we had Craig Mack, you know, and the thing about it is we had a lot of other people that didn't have deals at the time.
Okay.
And we were working on them. but Craig Mack was our focus.
Okay.
Was the One Nation album in conjunction with Death Row East, or was that something separate?
Yes. Yeah, that was the conversation. That was the conversation to put it out on Death Row East. That was the conversation.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you share? Go ahead, Reg.
Could you also just share them? Because I remember a conversation where you were the one that kind of told Pop to the name people, that you have a problem with on the East Coast and stop just throwing it out like it was the East Coast. And that's why I think and hit him up. He named the people that he had a problem. Do you remember any conversations like that? Okay.
Yeah, but my conversations I've always been the older brother, the elder statesman, being able just to have a conversation, saying, man, let it go, man. It's not that serious. These people don't have a problem with you. But I think the Vibe magazine is guilty of really perpetuating all of the silliness. I never forget looking at the Vibe magazine. They're talking about the East-West Coast beef. And I'm on Sunset Boulevard in La Cienega, standing there on the corner and looking at a magazine that says the East Coast, West Coast beef. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. When, even when I first used to come to L.A., Ice Cube used to pick me up in a Suzuki Sidekick with Dayton's on it. You know what I'm saying? Then, I'm with Suge and Death Row, and we run it through L.A. and we're everywhere. And so I'm still trying to figure out, well, where's the beef at and who's the beef with? Because we didn't have no beef. We didn't have no beef with nobody. It was just individual people. This person didn't like that person didn't like this person, but it wasn't a coastal or territorial thing. Because Reg will tell you, they came to the East Coast and had a great time and never had no issues or no problems or none of that silly stuff.
Exactly. I remember even that time we went to Saturday Night Live. You remember you took us all to that Benihana's, I think, that Benihana's restaurant.
Exactly. Exactly. Because I remember when y'all came in, y'all was staying out in Long Island. We were like, man, why y'all out here, man? Ain't nobody got no problem with y'all, man. Come on into the city, man. We're gonna go get something to eat and laugh and joke, man. And we took the whole team out, and they understood because they thought that we had a beef with them, and there wasn't no beef. We never had no beef with nobody from the West Coast. It's just individual people didn't like each other. So you can't just lump the two coasts together and say because one person here or that person didn't like each other that everybody didn't. Mm-hmm. We all was in L.A. hanging out every day, every weekend.
Okay. Can you explain a little bit about how the One Nation album was presented to you? Were you there when it was recorded, or did Pac kind of talk to you about it? How did you learn about the album, and what were your thoughts on it before it obviously got, once he passed, they kind of remixed it and all that stuff?
No, well, he talked about, it goes back to the thing we talked about with Nas. He talked about doing records with individuals that he really liked, and he just like, there was guys like Melly Mel. He wanted to do a record with Melly Mel. He wanted to do a record with Big Daddy Kane. His idols that he said seen coming up, he wanted to do a record with Run DMC, Houdini, these guys that he idolized. And he was like, man, Eric, I just want to make a record called One Nation, man. Just put any and everything on it and stuff that I like on it, And he said, if these people are really my fans, they're gonna love, what I put on this record.
Okay. E, could you explain to us about in your own words, because you was talking to Pac. I know you and Pac had a special relationship where y'all would talk off to the side and everything. And there's people that was close to Pac, video directors and people like that, and bodyguards, Hollywood Frank and them, that always had the opinion of saying that Pac was planning to leave Death Row. In your opinion, is there any truth to that?
That's the biggest lie ever told. And let's be clear. Let's be clear, Reg. I was there at the hospital when Tupac got shot, when they came and got me, and I went to the hospital and I spoke to the doctor, and the last words that Tupac said to Suge was, yo, I just want to let you know that I love you. So all of that, Tupac was going to another label and all that. You don't make that up. The bro made it up by end telling people that her and Pac were pillow talking, and he told her he was leaving. I don't want to hear all of that. That's furthest from the truth.
Yeah. Now this guy, there's Mike Nice or something like that, and we done had even Noble from the Outlaws coming out saying that there was some deal with Quest Records with Quincy Jones that Pac was about to do. Do you know anything about that? Because I don't know anything about it. I just heard them talk about it.
Yeah, okay. All that sound like party rap to me, because I ain't never heard Pac say that. Pac used to come to the hotel and get me every day. I ain't never heard nothing about no Quest and this and that. It just sound like to me. The broad kept all this mess going, and you know what it is. At anytime's a mess like this, it's always a girl in the middle, saying what this was and that was going to happen and this was going to happen.
Gotcha. I just want you to explain, if you can. A lot of people on the board is asking about Big D role. I remember Big D, and I knew you and him had a relationship. Can you, or would you like speaking on anything about him, or you just rather leave that alone?
Oh, you talking about Big D, my man, Big D?
Yeah, your man, Big D.
From Queens.
Yeah.
I brought Big D on with us. Big D, we all grew up together around the way, and Big D was in music with us, and we brought him along with us, and he was going to be second in command at Death Row East.
Correct. Yeah. My boy Donnie Hammonds, and I'm asking this question. I don't know about this, so I'm just asking you. He want me to ask you about Sherm the Worm from Queens. Sherm said that he was there that night. I guess he's talking about the night when Pac got shot and later died. Do you know what he's talking about?
I don't know who that is.
Gotcha.
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
I don't know who that is. A lot of people probably were around. You probably just don't know their names and know them by faces, but I couldn't tell you who that was.
Gotcha. Go ahead, John.
Okay. When just to backtrack a little bit, when did you first meet Tupac? Was it before he went on death row?
Yes, he was with Digital Underground.
Okay, so you knew him from way back.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Digital Underground used to play with us on dates, and Pac used to come out, hang out with us, and laugh and joke with us out, the Digital Underground days.
Okay. All right. And then when he got out of jail and went, and signed with Death Row, how soon were you out there back reunited with him, or did it take a minute for you to come back out?
No, we always have been cool, throughout the years.
Mm-hmm.
Getting out of jail, I seen him, we came back around each other, called each other, talked, every day.
Yeah, I always thought it was.
So we really didn't miss a beat.
Yeah, I always really thought it was you. That Hammer that really reason why you came around. Is there any accuracy to that, or you and the Hammer was just cool from back in the day?
Of course. Yeah. No,
yeah.
Hammer's definitely an intricate part of saying, Eric, you need to come along with the team, and this is what we're doing. Because remember, Hammer had a deal with Death Row and brought his artists. Remember, Keisha Cole was on Death Row.
Keisha,
a lot of people don't know that.
Nutso, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Rel, Nutso, and all of them producers, all them guys were on Death Row Records too.
Yeah, do you remember what I just said, because I always explained to them about how Snoop was going to do Doggy Style, Pac was going to do Machiavelli Records, you was going to pretty much have Death Row East, Hammer had Hammer Time Records, and then the homies had Ghetto Boys. Yeah, that was. Mm-hmm. Ghetto Records, not Ghetto Boys.
Yeah, because we had a lot of irons in the fire, man, and I think we could have dominated. Not even just music. I just think TV and film too, because Pac was heating up as a movie star. Mm-hmm. So we're on our way to to doing a lot of stuff and being a real entertainment company.
Okay.
And I think that a lot of people, to be honest, I think that a lot of people are happy that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of black powerful guys that are no nonsense, that are getting money, and we could have dominated Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
We had all all the entertainers, actors, everybody was around. Everybody wanted to work with us.
Exactly. 'Cause that Mother's Day event, he had an all-star crew. I remember y'all had Christopher Wills messing with him coming around.
Yes.
I think Adina
I'll
Howard.
be sure.
Everybody was trying to get.
Listen, everybody. If you look up any and everybody was around hanging out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John.
Somebody wanted to ask, can you go into detail about the conversation at the hospital? I guess somebody had said that you had spoken, or you had said that previously that you had spoken to Tupac when he was in the hospital or something. So I just want to see if you could clear that up a little bit.
Yeah, well, when I got there, they were talking about they had actually had mixed it up. They said Suge got shot in the head, he's about to die, and Tupac just got wounded. And come to find out, it was just the opposite. So we just sat there and talked to the doctors and they let them really do their thing, and we really stayed out of the way. But the conversations that were had, I remember talking to Suge and talking to the doctors when I was there, and Tupac told them before they took him upstairs, said, Suge, man, I just want to tell you that I love you. We did all have that conversation.
Yeah. What they trying to get at, Eric, is there was somebody that said that on one of the interviews or something, there was somebody reported that you said that the Pac was shaking the bed, or he was trying to shake the bed to let you know that he was still there, because there's a lot of people out there that don't believe Tupac is no longer with us. They still believe he's alive. It was a big.
But you know what? A lot of people, but I don't know who could have said that, because if you remember, only certain people were allowed to go in the room.
I try to tell them that,
but a handful of us.
Exactly.
It was only a handful of us that were allowed to go in the room. So I don't know where this outside force came from, and everybody like it was the Soul Train line going again. Exactly. It was only a handful of people that you can name, and everybody looked each other in the face, that were allowed to go in the room.
I'd be telling this story for over a year, and I didn't heard, and they were, Daddy Boy said he was there, or this boy said he was there.
No.
Yo, true. I was like, my God, I had the 2 security guards standing outside that door, and nobody was going in that room. He was trying to let Pac fight for his life.
Only a handful of people had access to go in the room, and a lot of us days we were down there. Plenty of days I was sitting there. I was like, man, Tupac was there swollen up. I was like, man, and me and Hammer sat there. And we like, man, we don't even want to see our brother like this. And we turn around and wouldn't even go in the room. So it was only a handful of people that were allowed to go in that room. So I don't know where all of this mysterious people came from, and
it was
they seen this,
who said that, really. It was Mopreem who said that Tupac was shaking the bed and trying to tell him something or something. I don't know. So I don't know if he was in there or not. I'm not sure.
Who knows?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know one thing. It wasn't a whole bunch of people that had access to go in that room.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody on the board, we got like a live chat board where people are listening in live. Somebody wanted me to ask you, Eric, how did Tupac's death affect you personally?
When you have somebody like, I didn't look at Tupac, like everybody.
Reggie, bad time to drop the phone. See him sitting there looking there, fucking with the phone? Hold on, let me get him back.
John?
You better keep that phone down. I see you sitting there playing with it and made it hang up on us.
Yeah. Hold on, let me call him.
All right.
Okay, we're back. Okay. Sorry about that.
I'm an actor, a movie star, an activist. He's my little brother. So we took it hard. I'll never forget myself and MC Hammer when we got the news that we had just left the hospital, and I was in. We were down the block at a restaurant having breakfast, and then everybody came out, was crying, and then we had pagers, and my pager kept going off. They said, "Hey, Eric, Tupac just died. I said, Tupac didn't just die. I just left the hospital. He said, man, Eric, you better get back. So we went back to the hospital, and everybody had sad faces standing around. Me and Hammer looked and said, oh, man.
Damn.
And there's a park down there in Vegas. I think it's called Sunset Park. It's by Mike Tyson's old house down there. Me and Hammer sat in that park for about 4 or 5 hours and just sat there and didn't even talk to each other. Damn. We sat there until the sun went down and just sat there. We had our heads down. That's how much it affected us. We sat in that park at least 4 or 5 hours until the sun went down and didn't even talk. I didn't say nothing to him, and he didn't say nothing to me, and we just sat there in disbelief, that our little brother was gone.
Right. Okay. When they had like a private, little, I think they had like not a vigil, but they had like a little ceremony at the beach. Did you attend that? Where like the mom and...
No,
okay.
No.
You didn't go
No.
Okay.
No. Because a lot of, because something was said to me that I'll take to my grave that I didn't like, and I still don't like it. And I'm gonna take it to my grave. Somebody else will tell it.
Okay.
But people were saying silly stuff that they wanted to do and stuff like that. And I said, yo, I'm out, man.
Okay.
This is where I get off the ship at.
Yeah,
they talked about it on Vlad interviews, so it's kind of out there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so some stuff that they were talking about doing, and I said, yo, I'm out of here, man. I said, I'm gone. We ain't talking, crazy like this. I'm out.
Right. Okay. When Tupac passed, after he passed, how did the chain events happen to where Death Row East didn't happen? Was it when Suge, got sentenced, or was it before that you thought, all right, maybe
No, it started. What happened was it just seemed like one thing after the other. Tupac died. Suge went to jail. It just snowballed out of control.
Okay.
The whole thing started snowballing, out of control.
Gotcha.
And then, it just fell apart.
Okay. In the movie All Eyes on Me, they kind of misrepresented it a little bit. They tried to make like it was Tupac's label. What were your thoughts on the movie, and what were your thoughts in particular on how they presented Death Row East within that movie?
You know what? I didn't even really the movie, man. I know the true story. I didn't watch the movie. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
I didn't watch the whole movie. I think that the parts that I've seen, Demetrius Shipp, his son did a fantastic job looking like Tupac, playing Tupac. And what was so funny, his son was around us as a little kid and used to wear a karate uniform and used to come to the studio and listen to Tupac make music. And then, fast forward years later, he plays Tupac.
Right.
So, just to see Demetrius' son, actually take on and embody that role of Tupac, that was one of the greatest moments for me, just to see, somebody that was really with us every day, to take over that role as Tupac. So, that for me was the greatest thing that I've seen. I'll never forget. He was a little kid with a karate uniform on. I used to be around there. And his father, Demetrius Shipp, is one of the producers. He did Tupac. He did Michael Jackson, Remember the Time, and other stuff like that. And to see him, to see him to go from a little boy to a young man and actually, get up and step up on a big stage like that. I think, man, it takes a lot of balls to do that, man, to fill Tupac's shoes and never be just your first acting job to ever have. You gotta commend the kid, man. The kid did a fantastic job, looked like Tupac, embodied Tupac and everything. I was proud about that moment. That was the defining moment for me that I was proud of.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we had Demetrius over here about 4 or 5 months. He did an interview with us, and so they know about Demetrius a little bit. The daddy, Meech.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I forget which documentary it was or which book. It was something was said, and you would probably know more about this than anybody. Somebody said that they had set up some sort of meeting between Puffy and Suge during the height of the beef or whatever, and that Suge didn't show up. Like it was going to be some sort of summit thing. Were you privy to anything like that happening, or was that just kind of rumors and people talking?
Just people talking.
Okay.
people talk. I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
I remember Big D was trying to do something. I think I heard something about Big D was trying to get him to come to talk. I don't know if it ever happened, but he was trying to get in the middle of it and get it squashed. You remember the night outside?
I mean, but it really,
yeah,
but it really wasn't, man. It really wasn't a beef.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ask me, it really wasn't a beef, man. It was just, one thing leads to another, and tempers flare. And I can't really say that Suge hated Puff or Puff hated Suge. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's more, we get into a scuffle and, that's the end of it, but we never sat down as men to resolve it.
Mm. Okay.
Because that wasn't Suge's everyday thing. Oh, man, let's do something to Puff, or Puff saying, let's do something to Suge. So, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't even, I think it was just the two of them. You got into it one time, and then other people perpetuated it and kept it going.
Okay. All right. Did you have any sort of relationship with Biggie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Biggie, he's from Brooklyn, and, he lived down the block from where we were at in the projects. He lived down on Carlton Avenue at one time. So I used to see him, him and his family had moved down there. And I used to see him, when he first started, he used to come around.
Mm-hmm.
He used to come around to our studio in Queens.
Okay.
He used to hang out with Nas, him and Nas and a gentleman from Brooklyn named Lou Hobbs. All of them used to hang out together. He used to come by my studio in Queens.
Okay. Had Pac lived, you know and Biggie a little bit, do you feel the situation would have gotten worked out, or do you think it would have continued to, I don't want to say escalate, but just them not equal, Pac and Big, that is?
No, I think it would have got worked out. I mean, one thing about Pac, when when you hit him with the voice of reason, he can't turn back.
Mm-hmm.
And you tell him, hey, Pac, look, it's like this, it's like that. And one thing he always wanted to see is his people go to the next level. So if you told Pac, hey, Pac, you and Big with this silly nonsense, man, y'all stopping your people from going to the next level, Pac would have withdrawn, and waved the white flag and said, come on, Big, let's go get some money.
Mm. Okay.
One thing about him, he never got in the way of progress. And if you told Pac, hey, Pac, you getting in the way of progress. Mm-hmm. We're trying to go forward. We're trying to do this and trying to do that. And, you got a silly beef with this guy for no reason. You're stopping progress. Mm-hmm. He, immediately, he would have said, you know what, man, let's just go sit down and let's work this out and move on.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what happened with the Nas situation, from what you were saying, right?
Yes. Same thing.
Okay.
Same thing. Once he understood, and then he talked to Nas, and Nas told him to his face and said, Nas told him, brother, we ain't never supposed to got into a beef in the first place. I never had no problems with you. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't, and let's be clear, it wasn't like Nas was scared of him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nas is saying, yo, I don't know where this is coming from. You know what I'm saying? Nas is very capable of defending himself. They had a great organization down there in Queensbridge, and a lot of people stood behind him, but it wasn't that type of movement. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He had a lot of people. He could have defended himself. He could have did a lot of stuff, but he always said, yo, man, I don't know why this dude keep coming at me. I don't got no issues with him. Mm. And he told everybody around him, yo, y'all got to stand down. Yo, let it go. Until I say it's an issue, let it go. Okay. And, I want to be clear. It's not like Nas is some punk that you could have just ran over. Right. Nas just didn't want the problem, because when you got problems, nobody gets no money. Mm-hmm. And he had he had the mentality and said, yo, when you at odds with everybody, nobody's going to get no money. But I want to be clear. It's not like Nas is a punk or something and Tupac was going to run over him. Mm-hmm. It was just, they were just bumping heads at the time. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then cooler heads had to prevail.
Okay. And not to badmouth him, but I just want to clear up a quote. Snoop said that when Nas and Tupac met in the park, that Tupac said, I got a song dissing you, and when it drops, if you don't have any problem with me, then you won't say anything when the song comes out. To your recollection, I'm not asking you to speak bad on Snoop. I'm just wanting to try to clear it up a little bit, because it sounds like that's not fully what happened. Did you hear anything like that, or does that sound like a little exaggerated maybe about the conversation that Nas and Tupac had?
No, I don't know where that conversation came. I know that they both had a civil conversation, and they walked away as gentlemen. I don't know about the tough.
And I hate that y'all keep asking that.
I gotta ask him.
I was sitting right there. Snoop was not around. He was not right
No,
there
he wasn't.
in that conversation.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't there because they went to the side and talked.
Exactly.
Everybody stood down.
Okay.
Everybody stood down. It was all of us on one side, the Queensbridge guys on the other side, and everybody stood down and let them stand to the side and talk.
Okay.
So I don't know where, who got whipped for this conversation or where that came from. I don't know where that conversation came from, but I know they stood off to the side talking.
Okay. When Tupac got mad about, Snoop being on the radio, were you with Tupac when he heard it, when he heard the radio interview, or were you not around either one of them at the time?
I came back down, and he was arguing. He was like, he couldn't believe it was something about Snoop said he didn't have a problem, and Tupac said, "Yo, I'm riding for you, and you're not riding with me." And they got into a little, argument and scrimmage, over that. And but it's like we at the time, we're all brothers and family. Things are gonna happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't want people to look into it like Snoop and Pac had a beef. We were all brothers. Anything could happen at any time, but we're still family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You argue with your brother, you argue with your sister, your cousin,
True.
Your distant relatives, but we were still family at the end of the day. So I don't want to make it seem like they had this big beef, and and it went on from there. They were just mad, exchanged words. That's the end of it, and we moved on.
Okay. Because
it never became an issue to my recollection. It never became an issue after that conversation.
Okay. When Tupac not came to you, but when you guys talked and he said, "I want to do a song with Melly Mel or Scorpio or Big Daddy Kane," would you reach out to them to get them to go out to LA to record, or was that something Pac did on his own?
Yes.
So a lot of the One Nation collaborations was directly you helping set those up. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of them. A lot of them called a lot of people. Called a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the police.
Yeah, I called to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I called to everybody and told them to come on down. But the thing it was, everybody thought Tupac had a beef with them.
Right.
And then you get on the phone, and Tupac actually would get on the phone himself and say, "Hey, man, can you come on down, man? I'm looking forward to doing it." And they'd hold the phone like, "Yo, Eric, you serious, right?" "Yeah, man, that's Pac. You talk to him yourself."
Right.
I think that Tupac is one of the most misunderstood, guys that there is. When you get around him and you see, who he is, he's one of them guys that's going to ride with you to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Good, bad, ugly, he's going to ride with you to the end.
Gotcha. Okay. Was there anybody that Pac wanted you to reach out to that you maybe couldn't get a hold of, or just scheduling conflicts didn't allow them to work together in time that you could shed light on, just so people get an idea of what One Nation could have been? You know what I mean?
No. I mean, let me say something. I mean, everybody was open to it. I don't think there was not one person that we called or we reached out to that had an issue, but everybody was open to it. Everybody was excited, that we were going to bridge the gaps, with East and West, regardless to, what the magazines and stuff were saying. So there was not one person that Tupac had in his mental Rolodex that he wanted to use that didn't pick up the phone and say, "Yo, come on, let's go."
Okay.
I remember there's guys nice and smooth. There was so many different people that that were ecstatic, about working with him.
Yeah. Yeah, like all the boot camp clique came out there and did all that stuff. So there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Were you present for the recording sessions of that one? Like, were you that hands-on to where you were there during the sessions?
Yeah, different sessions. Big Daddy Kane, I was there for.
Okay.
I was there for a whole lot of sessions. And the thing about it was, I'm so mad that we didn't videotape and record the sessions, because they were pretty hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
We did more laughing. We did more laughing and joking than we did recording.
Okay.
Hey, let me ask you.
Go ahead,
Whose decision was it whose decision was it to put Queenie on the Bonnie and Clyde song, the Me and My Girlfriend song?
That was Tupac's decision.
No,
He was sitting there, and he said, "Hey, I need a chick to do this, and that." She said, "All right, I'm gonna do it." And they went in and did it.
Cool. Eric B, how did you and Rakim hook back up? Who was instrumental in making that relationship get back cool? Y'all just reached out
Well, you know what? But you know what, Reg? You know what's so funny about it? It's like what I alluded to earlier. Me and Rakim started as kids. You got to remember, we were kids when we started.
1986. Well,
exactly,
1986 was when I was professional. Yeah.
In 86, July 7th, 1986.
Yeah.
So what happened is we started out as kids and family. You know, I go to Rakim's house. He'd come to my father's house and mother's house. You may Allah be pleased with all of them. And we're family first and foremost. So a lot of people think that we have a beef. Rakim is my brother. You know what I'm saying? We grew up as kids together. We started a mom and pop operation and turned it into a corporation.
Correct.
We're family first and foremost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You and your brother are going to have a falling out. You and your sister are going to have a falling out, but you're still family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and then, you know, I was doing so much different stuff. I was doing Death Row East. I was managing boxers. I was doing TV stuff, movie stuff, and time has a funny way of slipping past you.
Okay.
So, you know, you look up and you say, man, you know what? How much time has gone past? And, you know, man, let me call my brother up, man. Let's sit down and rap, man. Let's do this, and that.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't a beef that, you know, let's kill each other, you know, or a relationship that we would just, you know, that didn't come together because we weren't family. We're family first and foremost. If you see Rakim's brother is on the road with us, Stevie Blast, like last week, somebody came up and they said, "Oh, this is Rakim's brother," and he got upset. And he said, "Yo, man, I'm so sick of this separation between all of us." He said, Eric's my little brother too. He said, "Don't just say that Rakim's my brother. Eric's my brother too, man. What are you talking about?" He said, "Yo, I ride with Eric every day." He said, "Yo," because, you know, Stevie Blast would tell him, "Yo, Eric got a bunch of sneakers and shoes, and I go in Eric's room and take them all out and put them on my feet, and all Eric do is laugh." He said, Eric's my brother." So, you know, a lot of people try to get in between, you know, your relationships and make what they want to make out of it and run. But, you know, to get back to what you were asking, we're brothers first and foremost. Before the music, before we had kids, you know what I'm saying, and all, you know, all the accolades and stuff, we were family first and foremost. And we were kids, you know, trying to figure this business out.
Okay, cool. Well, there you go, y'all. Y'all got the history now with Eric B and Rakim. And most of y'all don't know that they are back touring currently today, so be checking them out in a city near you. I remember hearing about it.
I was very about touring.
The House of Blues in Santa Ana, and I don't know what came up.
No, we don't play. No, Reg, we done played the House of Blues out there 2 or 3 times already. Mm-hmm. And the thing about it, Reg, our audience, you know, our audience is changed drastically, man. I couldn't believe it. We played places, and it's 95% white kids from college. And exactly. I'm like, how do they know the music? You know what I'm saying? And it's great, man. We're selling out every night, man. We're grateful and humbled by the experience. Me and Rakim sit in the dressing room every night. And like, Rod, did you ever think it's 33 years later and we're selling out every night and we're on stage having fun? You know what I'm saying? We got we're living the American fantasy, not the American dream. We live in the American fantasy. We got a job that we love to go to every night, and we're having a great time. Do you know,
a good time,
Reg, that we make more money now than we did when these records were on fire?
Exactly.
That to me is the funniest thing ever. And me and Rakim, we laugh about it and we talk about it. And say, man, Eric, I remember I remember when we was in 1985, we was getting 15,000. One time we got $17,500 a night. We thought we were billionaires.
Yeah.
They couldn't tell us nothing.
Yeah.
It was 1986, and we getting $17,000 a night. We were like, we have a ride.
Big money though. That was big money though. But back then, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, we thought we had a ride, because you got to remember, people were working 9-to-5 jobs and they were making $30,000 a year.
Exactly.
We was making $17,500. We was making $17,500 a night.
Exactly. Yeah. A guy paid $5 to ask you this question. He said, ask him if Rakim really meant to jab at Kane on the Follow the Leader. I don't,
Nah, man. Let me say something, and it's pretty funny. Everybody thought that we had a problem with Kane, but the joke was really on them, because Kane is another person that's a family member, and that's my brother. When Kane did the movie The Gunman, he was out in L.A. Kane bought this big house in Jamaica Estate, right around the corner from Donald Trump. I'm the one who signed the mortgage papers for him to get the house. I'm the one who put the furniture in the house. I'm sitting in the house 3 months before Kane even came back to the house. I had them put the carpet in, the furniture in, the TVs in, the cable on, the phone system in, because Kane was my brother. Yo, E, I'm not going to be here. I said, I got you. And by the time Kane came, when he came back in the door, all he had to do was walk back in the house and everything was put up. And, and he's family. And so everybody thought that we had a beef. I used to just laugh. I said, oh, okay. Yo, him and Rakim don't like each other. Oh, okay. We're at Kane's house just hanging out. Kane ain't even home. I'm at his house. But I got a beef with him.
Gotcha. Okay. Someone want to ask on the board, did Rakim, to your knowledge, ever meet Tupac?
You know what? Yes, he did. Remember, we was on the road. Remember, we was in Digital Underground, and when he was in Digital Underground, we were on the road.
Yeah.
And the Digital Underground was opening, for some of the shows that we did. Of course, he did.
Okay, cool. Did Tupac ever meet Big L, to your knowledge? Jermaine O'Neal want to know.
No, I don't. You know what? I never had any interactions with Big L. I probably seen him probably once or twice in my life. So I don't know what their relationship was. A lot of people said that they had a good relationship, but I don't know. I can't confirm that or deny it.
Okay. I'll read this from a guy that he named himself after the company he was going to run.
Yeah.
He's called himself Death Row East. He said, ask Eric B the thoughts on the album Rakim recorded with Dr. Dre, and does he think any of the tracks will ever be released?
I don't know if they ever did an album. I know that they did the single with the girl Truth Hurts. I don't know if they ever did an album.
Oh, okay.
I know they did, sketch records here and there, but I don't think that, to my understanding, I don't think there was an album. I don't think they did an album.
Okay. Who are you guys signed with, E? What company?
MCA. When we first started.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
MCA. MCA, which is now MCA. We signed to MCA, which is now Universal Music.
And that's why he asked this question. So my boy, that's why I asked this, because I wasn't sure. DJ Aftershock want to know, to your knowledge, was any of y'all music affected by the fire in 2008?
No, what'd you say, Reg?
Yeah, no problem. Was any of your masters or any of your unreleased music affected by the fire in 2008 at UMG?
Yes.
It was. Okay.
Yes. Everything was burnt up.
Can I handle that lawsuit for y'all? I know y'all busy now.
It's so funny.
I know y'all busy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so fun. It's so funny. Everybody lost masters, man. It's a mess, man. It's a tragic thing. They're saying, "Oh, we got to do a copy."
Why did they have that in a fireplace ball? Who dropped the ball on that?
No, they did happen. But let me tell you something, man.
Okay.
The whole thing stinks. That's all I'm saying. The
Okay.
whole thing, though, it don't even, because they got a warehouse that we used to deliver masters to in New Jersey, and that warehouse was fireproof and air conditioned and everything else. So I don't know why they would move everything to L.A. and it's not fireproof. It's not. It just don't smell right. Something ain't right.
Something not right, huh? Okay. Let me ask you this. I remember this deal, and I wonder whatever happened to it because they kind of fell off. But man, I remember you vouching for Louis Burrell to come up and on that deal with some recordings with Genuine and Missy Elliott and all of that that was supposed to have been in the vault. Do you remember about that deal? You remember that deal?
Yeah, that was the deal with
Brian Turner advancing the money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know what Louis and all Brian and all those guys.
You talked to Louis lately?
No. I've seen him last year. I think Salt and Pepper and them did the '90s tour. I had seen him and his son. I ain't seen him in years. It came out. I spoke to him for a little while.
You know
he's doing
Jodeci now, right?
Huh?
You know he's the one managing
Jodeci. I seen. Yeah, I seen the Jodeci album, the record they put together. Yes.
Okay, John, go ahead.
We got somebody.
We can't hear you, John.
Can you hear me now? Oh, hold on. Can you hear me now?
Okay, we hear you now.
All right. You see the last one that donated? I don't know if I should ask this question. Well, fuck it, I'll ask it. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to answer it. Somebody said, Eric B, since you're from Queens, do you think Supreme was responsible for 50 Cent's mom getting killed?
Oh, man, why you going to ask that?
Hey, he said nothing's off limits.
So. You know what? That's a valid. No, you're right. That's a valid question. I think it's the biggest rumor ever heard.
Okay.
Or ever said. Man, I've never heard 50 say that. I've never heard, Supreme talk like that. I think it's just, urban legend. Mm-hmm. Somebody just made up some bullshit and just ran with it. Okay. But I've never heard, he's the one that had her killed and all that silly stuff. Right. I think it's just urban legend.
Perfect. Okay.
Because 50 Cent don't have no problem saying anything else, and that would have been on his mind.
That's
something
true.
He would have said a long time ago.
Yeah.
I've heard everything. I've heard just the opposite. That was his father, and I said, "Oh man, y'all just gonna make up any old thing."
Yeah.
So I've heard all kind of silliness with that, but I've never heard. I think it's just urban legend.
Okay.
Gotcha. Hey, this guy, he's a good listener of ours named Don Helm. He want to know, can you explain us what happened with the beef between EPMD misunderstanding with Rakim after that EPMD first album?
It's the same thing. A girl in the middle. He said, she said, and nobody said anything. Just a bunch of silliness.
Gotcha.
Some girl said that this person said. It's just, even repeating it, I feel like an idiot just even repeating it. It was so stupid. Man.
It was so stupid. Okay. Yeah. Do you have some of the gold chains and rings from back in the day?
I still have every last one of them in the safe deposit box. It's funny. I did a show they were talking about for Nas. They have this show. They're talking about jewelry and fashion, and it was like, Eric, will you ever wear them? I said, see, now y'all disrespecting me. Y'all want me to look like I'm gonna get you sucked and put them on. I said, y'all ain't gonna get me with that one. So they were like, no, I ain't gonna do that one. Let Rick have that.
I went to a 70 party for Valentine's Day, and I went and bought. I spent $75 for a big old thick fake chain.
I'm good. But see, Reg, you doing it because it's stylish to go to a party. I'm doing it. I'm looking like Huggy Bear, and I'm gonna get you sucking. So I'm not doing that one. It's new style, new trends. Let's move forward.
New stuff. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. I said, I tell him. I said, take a picture. It'll last longer. Let's move forward. Now let's go on to the next thing.
Got you. Go ahead, John. We ain't gonna spend too much of your time because, man, we really love your patience and how you handling this for us. Yeah. And I think we done got most of the questions that I always had on my mind answered. But John, you got any more for Eric?
Yeah, we always ask two people. We always ask 2 questions to people that were close with Tupac. We asked first if you can share one of your favorite memories with him that people might not know about, and number 2, what your personal favorite Pac song was, if you wouldn't mind sharing that.
You know what? I'm a music person, so I love his craft. I love his style. He had different styles on different songs. So, I'm like the wrong person to ask, which song. I loved all his music. But, the greatest thing that I loved about Tupac is it's only a few artists that have it. It's Jam Master Jay, it's Whitney Houston, it's Tupac. All of them have this dynamic smile, and when you meet them, they speak to you, and you'll swear that y'all been friends for 100 years. Mm. Okay. That's my greatest, memories. If I introduced Tupac to somebody else, he would give them this smile. Hey, man, how you feeling? And hug them, and they'd be like, man, Eric, he's so cool, and made me feel like we were cool for years. And there's only a few people that have that same mesmerizing, capabilities. It's Whitney Houston, Jam Master Jay, and Tupac. And I'm pretty sure there's some others that I'll think about later, but those are the ones that really stick out in my mind. They give you this smile, like, hey, we've been friends for 100 years.
Okay. This is one of my good listeners that we like a lot over here. His name is Honest J. Got some nice songs. We're gonna have to play some music of him to you. But he wanted to ask you, Eric B, did you know Big Stretch? Did you know Stretch Walker, I guess? That's what we talking about?
No.
Didn't know him, I said. Okay. No. Well, cool, man. Well, man, my boy Rick, I keep telling y'all about that YouTube channel over there. Come on, John, tell me Rick's YouTube channel.
Pacific Code Media.
Pacific Code Media.
Yep.
That's my boy Big Rick. I tell you, it's like,
yeah, man. I gotta do Rick's channel, man. Man, Rick, tell Rick, let me hold something light for the hoes get it. They told me he got all the money.
Yeah, Rick the man. Rick making moves. Yeah, I want to say that Rick making moves.
Yeah,
now.
Exactly.
He had me down.
Exactly.
Rich white folks today, man. Rick making moves, man.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah, man. Shout out to Rick, man. Thanks, man. Yeah. Shout out to Rick, man. Thanks for connecting us back, man, with my man Rick, man. I mean, all jokes aside, man, I really appreciate it, man, and thank you, man.
Yeah.
He's always connected the dots. I'm gonna call Rick Connect the Dots.
The connector.
Yeah, he's the connect.
He's the connector. Well, Eric B, man, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule.
Yeah.
Because I know you're on the roll and you're working to come over here on this little YouTube channel we got over here that we're just trying to put out facts, man. And wherever it goes, And
but you know what, Reg? You're gonna think about something. I said, man, I should have asked Eric, man. Reg, you feel free to call me back and let's do it again. I'm sure a lot of people are going to have a lot of questions. Man, let's do it again, man. It's not a big deal, man. You know what I'm saying? Reg, me and you, we spent a lot of nights together, man, a lot of days together. I consider you family, man. You need me, I'm there for you.
I appreciate you even saying that, Ed. I just wanted the next time you got a show that you in the L.A., Orange County area, please call me because I want to come and check
Reg, we're going to do one even better. You ain't got to call, just show up. Just say, yo, Reggie's here. That's all. Okay. All you got to do is show up. And my brothers and sisters in L.A. say just pull up. That's all. Let's pull up. Let's do it.
Appreciate that, E. Appreciate you, man, taking the time for us.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
No, anytime, gentlemen. Thanks again for having me.
Yeah.
Man, we appreciate you. Thanks. All right.